joining us today. I am Haley Aguayo.
Go ahead.
I currently work at the United Nations Foundation in Washington, D.C. I have been working in HR for over 10 years now, and I am.
I'm sorry.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Let me just interject, Haley, please be sure to mute yourselves. Everybody needs to keep their microphone on mute. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay. Get 'em.
Let me just go. So I am excited to co-facilitate this webinar today with Pam Mertz and Pam, do you want to do a quick introduction?
Well, I kind of already did, but again, I'll just share that I'm on the board of directors with the National Stuttering Association, and we're just really pleased to have the opportunity to offer these webinars because we all know that it can be challenging to stutter in the workplace. So I think this is like our 13th or 14th webinar. So it's really neat to continue doing it and have one on today's topic, the other side of the table. So back over to you, Haley.
Mm-hmm. So as you know, selecting the right candidates are critical for building talent in your organization. So today, we hope that we can help teach you how to find the best candidates while also giving you the confidence to be a person who stutters while conducting interviews. So, with that said, today we are going to be talking about these following topics here. Why interview, to disclose or not to disclose the importance of diversity, focusing on the candidate and then not the stuttering, and then finally interviewing strategies.
I'm sorry, I violated my own rule. Thank you, Haley. So to get right into it, why interview? As Haley mentioned, whether you're a seasoned professional with an already established team that you manage, or whether you're a first-time manager looking to bring on potential new hires, at some point in your career, you will be responsible for interviewing candidates. Interviewing, of course, is an important step in the employee selection process. If done effectively, the interview enables the employer to determine if an applicant's skills, experience, and personality meet the job requirements. And when we're stuttering openly and freely during an interview, we're showing part of our personality. And I think that's important for us to remember. It also helps the employer assess whether an applicant would likely fit in with the corporate culture, because we do know that fit is so important. Applicants also benefit from an effective interview, as it enables them to determine if their employment needs and interests would likely be met, and if they want to actually work there. So on Haley's graphic there, I don't know if you can see it, but so tell me about a time you fetched. That tell me about yourself is usually the starting point for interviewers. Okay, Haley?
Okay. So, moving on to choosing whether to disclose or not to disclose. There's typically a lot of pressure as somebody that stutters as an interviewee, but what about as the interviewer? Is there pressure to represent the company a certain way by sounding a certain way? What would um, happen if you stuttered while interviewing a candidate? Things could possibly become awkward. Maybe the candidate wouldn't feel comfortable. Maybe there's no way to feel comfortable in mentioning it to the candidate, or does it truly need to be addressed? So I disclosing it though, it could help the candidate understand what is happening. Plus, it could help educate the candidate on how to respond to you going forward. And this gets every body on the same page too. So what if you meet somebody that has a negative reaction. This is totally possible, and there are certain people that could
Running. It's
could
well, I don't know whether they're seeing you or not.
React differently to unforeseen situations. So there is no real way to control how somebody will react.
And so as Haley said, when we disclose or choose not to disclose, we can sometimes have a negative reaction. I was a manager during different parts of my career for about 20 years. So yes, I had to do quite a few interviews. And I often chose not to disclose because I was always worried about, is it necessary? And I don't want to make the interview about stuttering. But I can remember some years back when I was interviewing somebody, a candidate was pretty blunt and remarked to me, "Wow, you're more nervous than I am. Is there something I should know? Are you okay?" And so I remember pausing, or I hope I paused and just took a deep breath and smiled, and I said, "No, I'm not nervous. I just stutter. It's part of me and I'm okay with it. I hope that you will be too." She then apologized, which I wasn't looking for in any way, but she got the message. I felt like I had owned the situation and we were able to move on with the interview. So I think it's, healthy for us to be prepared either way, whether we disclose or choose not to.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And at the end of the day too, you actually have the cards here. You are the hiring manager, looking to fill the hiring need. So your goal is to choose a candidate who not only has the past experience, but somebody too that you feel the most comfortable with too. Every company should have a diverse staff, made up of different backgrounds, beliefs, and differences. So if somebody isn't comfortable during the interview with somebody that is different from them, then maybe they aren't the right fit for your company. No matter what their resume says. And so this ties in to the importance of diversity. So there's several different needs for a diverse staff. It diversity brings in different talents, skills, and experiences to companies. This actually helps create different innovating ideas with different perspectives. But talent pools can grow too to a wider candidate pool. Plus, there's a higher low level of engagement too. So a diverse staff with a manager that confidently stutters. That is definitely a benefit to the company. So how to focus on the candidate instead of the stuttering. So the whole purpose of conducting the interview is to see if this candidate best fills the needs of the company. So focusing on stuttering actually takes away from finding that. So try to get to know their knowledge, skills, and abilities. The candidate should be evaluated based on the duties of the position. So all of that comes in to factor for choosing the best candidate. So I'll actually go through these steps here pretty quickly. So conducting the interview, there are several different steps from start to finish. The first one should be building rapport with the candidate when they first come in, such as making small talk with them, smiling too. It definitely helps put them at ease too. Next, tell them the order of events. This puts you in control by providing the timeline. Next, describe the job, the purpose, the salary, talk about the team. All of these smaller details can help the candidate later make their decision, and then ask questions that are both effective and legal. There are several different types of questions such as situational types of questions, behavioral questions too. Honestly, those two types, they are more open ended, so the candidates can provide more details there.
And then the last couple of points, and all of these so beautifully point to the overall theme here is focus on the person, the interviewee that you're working with, so that you can feel less self-conscious perhaps of stuttering. But you also want to make sure that you gather and evaluate information from the candidate, and this is important. Don't just robotically ask questions, have them answer, and then you move on. Listen to their responses. and then ask follow-up questions based on something that they just said. I think it's important for interviews to be as conversational as possible, because that does put people at ease. Point 6, allow the candidate to ask additional questions. So you want to be sure that they've given an opportunity to really show their strengths and why they would be the best candidate for the role. And then concluding the interview. That may seem pretty common sense, but you just don't want to cut somebody off. You want to provide the next steps, let them know what to expect, and remember to thank them for coming into the interview. There you'll have the most chance of having successful interviews. And we'll swing back over to Haley to wrap us up.
Mm-hmm. So these links here, they provide great resources for interviewing. They are very helpful for coming up with different questions to ask the candidates here. So finally, for the conclusion here, should you choose to disclose this is totally up to you, but the candidate will probably feel more comfortable with the stuttering talked about. Focus on the candidate to find the candidate that is most qualified. And finally, get to know the appropriate interviewing questions too.
And just to piggyback on our wrap up, people might be thinking, well, what are legal questions to ask or not ask during an interview? And they would be questions about a candidate's marital status, their health, whether or not they have children, any questions about race or ethnicity. That's what we mean by legal and effective questions. You want to make sure that you're following the law when you're interviewing people. I just want to say, Haley, thank you for all of this amazing information from your perspective as a human resources hiring manager. We do have some time to take some questions, so we will stop the screen share, and we'll give people an opportunity that might want to ask a question at this point. We have like about 10 to 15 minutes for questions. So if anybody would like to ask, you can just probably like raise your hand to let us know. Mike, be sure to unmute. Yep.
Let me unmute myself.
Yep.
So I was just going to say, it's not a question, but just to share my perspective on this. So I own dental practices in upstate, Syracuse and Binghamton and Albany and close to Ithaca and Elmira. And for the last 12 years, I've interviewed quite a few people, a lot of dentists, for example. And what I've found is, well, as people that stutter, we oftentimes, maybe I shouldn't say we, but many of us have experienced the feelings of inferiority, right? That having this stutter makes us less than the person we're talking to somehow. And in my experience, first off, when you're interviewing somebody, the first two things they know about you, if you're overt, right, or if you're covert, and you have to tell them, or they're not going to know that you stutter. But if you're covert, perhaps you're not going to disclose anyway in the first place. But the first two things that they're going to know about you, if you're overt, if you have an obvious stutter, first, that you're interviewing them. They already know that before the interview starts, right? So you're, I hate to use the phrase in the position of power, but that's the truth. You're evaluating them. Yes, employees are evaluating the company also, but so they know that you're successful enough to be interviewing them, right? And the second thing is that you have a stutter, especially if it's overt, they see that. And so I chose to think about that as kind of a badge of honor, that despite this stutter, it didn't stop me from succeeding. And people respect that. When they see you've got a thing that must be challenging for you, but you still not let it stop you in life, they respect that. And I think we should keep that in mind when we have that tendency to think, oh, they must be thinking, I don't know, all sorts of negative thoughts about me. Why can't I say this word, etc. And so just, and then that helps to relieve our tension in our mind, and we can just focus on our interview and trying to find the best candidate possible, which is the point of conducting an interview.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for sharing that and your experience. Elisha Kogan has their hand raised to ask a question. You're up next.
Hi, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So my question is, I know, so if I decide to, for example, disclose the fact that I stutter during an interview, are there, well, I guess, are there better ways to go about it than worse ways to go about in disclosing the stutter?
So that's a great question. Honestly, I think that is a personal preference. I prefer to mention it during my introductions, and I just simply state that I stutter. So if they need me to repeat something, to just let me know. And that typically does the trick there. But that is a total personal preference, though, I think.
I agree with you, Haley. And one of the barometers that I tend to use is if acknowledging that we stutter will eliminate the elephant in the room. I think it's, you know, often a good time to choose to disclose, because we can tell, especially if we've done many interviewers, if the applicant is nervous or uncomfortable. So eliminating any potential barriers, including being vulnerable and owning our stuttering, can very often, help the person and yourself feel much more at ease. We have a few minutes for maybe one more question. Doug?
Hi there. First, thank you, hey, Carl and Pam. I've had an opportunity to be on both sides of this particular topic, and so I understand the needs and the challenges of both. Haley, in your experience over the years, what was your most challenging interviewee, and how you handle that?
So just a couple of months ago, somebody came in who told me he saw my LinkedIn post that actually talks about stuttering. So I actually didn't feel the need to address it to him for the second time, but he kept on interrupting me, finishing sentences, talking to my colleague. So I just kept on talking, finishing my questions to kind of like non-verbally tell him that I prefer to actually finish them. He didn't seem to catch on though. So honestly, he wasn't the best fit. So I mean, that made that the decision pretty simple.
That's a great way to put it, Haley. Right? Like, you know, he doesn't have the type of values that we're looking for in our organization.
Mm-hmm.
We have one more question on deck before we have to close. So, Joseph, the floor is yours. Joseph Clayton.
Okay, hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Pam. Hi, Haley. I just wanted to thank you guys, you know, for putting this on, you know, the webinar. I'm normally not able to join a lot of these, but it works out. Now that I'm working from home, I was able to actually join. It's a lot easier that way. I have to say, Haley, I admire you. I really do. I know it's not easy. I mean, I've had a stutter my whole life, and it's really challenging in a lot of ways. As far as interviewing, I haven't had to interview anybody. Well, that's not true. I was on an HOA board a while ago, so I would interview contractors, but not at a real job, I guess. But every time I had to interview with anybody, I just focused on being myself as much as I could. If I struggled at all during the interview, I would disclose that I have a stutter. It's a challenge that I've had my whole life, but and for the most part, I've gotten positive feedback on that immediately. It's like, oh, that's not a problem. It's okay. And, we make more of it, I believe, in our own minds, because it's happening to us all the time. We beat ourselves up a lot about these things, but, we have to, that's part of the mind game we play with ourselves. And that's really more than half of the battle at times, But again, thank you for the webinar. It was helpful, and I look forward to being a part of more of these. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. And we are just about right on time. So I do want to acknowledge and thank Haley again. She did 99% of the content. So really some excellent resources here for us. Yeah, everybody take their mics off and just give Haley a big round of applause. Really great stuff. So I just want to remind people that the National Stuttering Organization has a wealth of resources for on the topics of stuttering at work. westutter.org/career success. And I'll ask John Moore if you can just write that in the chat box. And I want to let you know that we do have one more spring webinar coming up on May 19th, co-hosted by Carl Coffey and Ariel Malman, and that will be on creating allies at work. So again, that webinar will talk a little bit about disclosure and how disclosing can actually help build allies, which we all need. So again, thank you all very much for tuning in. Haley?
Thank you guys for participating. Thank you, Pam, for co-facilitating, and hopefully you learned something today.
Thanks, Haley. All right, everybody, we're going to end. Again, thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll see you at the next one in May. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye.